Well, I said, you're talking to the wrong people. So even out at the county level, that nobody knows what the real numbers are, and people like to sell the general public a number that's not accurate. And so everybody's budgeting off of numbers that are inaccurate. And it's $8 to $10 billion. And now with the economy tanking again, the last couple of days, if you guys are going to see this, it's going to already have happened. But 380 points yesterday it dropped. It's down below 10,000 a stock, and consumer confidence dropped 10% in June. And those numbers, those are real numbers, and they affect people's attitude and how they spend. And we're heading right down for another dip again. That's the sidebar to the whole issue, but it affects state government, revenue, its ability to function and operate as a government.
And I think that's one of the things that's waking people up around the state of Minnesota, around the whole entire country, to say, you know what, we cannot spend our way into prosperity.
No, not at all. But and I'm talking to people on the campaign trail. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, the people out in the street are understanding that too. More than the people at the state capitol.
Exactly, which is why we need to throw the bums out. We need to.
And if it's across the board, so be it. Across the board, and it'll start all over again.
Right.
Start with new people. Yeah.
And I keep telling everyone, November is coming. November is coming.
Yes.
So wrapping up the end of the legislative session, it was very frustrating for anybody who was paying attention to watch all these retirement speeches. I kind of wish there would have been a few more retirement speeches.
Yes, but there was, and some people that I really appreciate, like Laura Broad is retiring, but apparently she's staying in public service in some form or another. But I really liked her. She's a little spitfire down at the state capitol, and she stood her ground, and I appreciate her. So when I get elected in November, I'm gonna miss having her as a peer down at the state capitol to change the business as usual down there. So she was one of the ones that I'm gonna miss. And of course, Tom Emery's running for governor, so he retired. And he's another one of those spitfires down there. So on the Republican side, we're missing a few people who have some real bone character, and that's going to be a sad miss. We're missing some good people. And I don't know who's running in their place. I have no idea. You would probably know more than I would.
They have some good candidates, very good candidates running.
I don't know.
Glenn Grunhagen running for Laura's seat, and Joe McDonald is running for Emmer's seat. So we have fantastic candidates all over the state of Minnesota, from north to south, east to west, and even congressional seats, CD5, CD4, the Minneapolis and St. Paul and surrounding areas. Great candidates, and I encourage people to go out and. I'm
going to put a plug in for CD5 in our area and in our BPOU. We've done a lot in the last 2 years in CD5 to wake up the state of Minnesota and say we're putting ourselves on the map again, and you guys better pay attention to us because we're serious about this government stuff. So.
And I come from St. Paul, and I have to say we're doing the same thing there too.
We're doing better than you are also.
Okay, you're a little bit ahead of us, but we're right behind you.
Right,
we appreciate the
we're providing
leadership.
For
yes, thank you so much. Okay, so any other comments that you wanted to talk about the end of the session?
I'm glad
Besides,
it's over.
It was a disaster.
I'm glad it's over. And the 2 years. Oh, I wrote statistics just so everybody, all you guys out there who are paying for this. There was 3,864 bills introduced. There was 415 laws sent to the governor's desk, and I think he only vetoed maybe 25 of those. And
should have vetoed many more.
Should have vetoed a whole lot more of them, yeah. And we'll talk about per diem. Oh, yeah, we want to talk about per diem.
I would like to hear your comments on per diem, because this per diem has been a source of irritation for me for a long time. Our legislators are elected to be citizen legislators, to go in, do their job for a little bit, and then get out and let another citizen go in there and do that. But no, they come in and they plant their butt over there, and they never leave. Some of them have been there 30 years, and I find that just appalling. And on top of the salary that we pay them and the retirement benefits and the health care benefits, they also get this thing called per diem. Tell us about per diem.
Per diem, and for all you using the construction industry, know what it is. It's widely used in construction. It's to pay people to go out of town and pay for the hotels. Just a general flat fee to cover hotel and food and whatever else, and inconvenience of working out of town. Our representatives in Minnesota get $77 a day, or 56 to 77, depending on how they sign up. Carol Lane, my opponent, gets $77 a day, and at the beginning of the session, they have to write down what they want on holidays, how they want to all get paid. The frustrating thing for me is, after all this insanity during the regular session, we had this 1 day or 2 day special session, and the representatives were all sent an email. Every one of them said, "Do you want to get your $77 for this day, for May 17th per diem?" And our representative, my opponent, chose to collect the $77. Now, $77 isn't squat in a $30 billion budget. It's not the point. The point is a principle that you didn't get your job done and you're still taking $77 on a special day of session. That's appalling, but that's the attitude that we can't have in government anymore. And Carol Lane she's presented herself across the board. Now,
how many people do you know get rewarded for not getting their job done?
I sure don't. I get rewarded by going home and staying home. Now, folks, I got to say this number. This is only for 2010 in 5 months, and this is only per diem. You guys paid $942,202 in 5 months per diem to our representatives in the House only, not the Senate.
The Senate gets more
not
money.
the legislature. Yeah, they get. I think theirs is twice as much or something. But just so you know, $942,202 is what you spent on just per diem for your representatives. Now, that all being said, I got to give credit where credit is due.
Dang right.
Yep. And you know what? I lost my piece of paper. I got.
Oh no,
remember?
right here.
Oh, here we go.
Yep.
We had 2 representatives that took no per diem last year. No per diem. Now, ready for this? They're both Democrats. So I'm going to give them credit. Tina Liebling. Thank you, Tina. Personally, from Tim Utes, running for Minnesota State House against Carol Lane. Thank you for not taking per diem. And Stephen Simon. Oh, Tina actually lives in Rochester, so she should give, I mean, if I'm going to give money per diem, somebody out of Rochester should be getting it. And then Stephen Simon, another Democrat. Thank you personally for me, Tim Utes, running for Minnesota State House. Stephen Simon, for standing up and doing what you're participating is, being a citizen legislature and not taking per diem. That's what I got to say about it.
That's absolutely fantastic, and I agree with you. Yeah. Give credit where credit is due.
They took no per diem during the regular session, and so the average. I think the average was about $7,400 or something like that was the average by the representative, something on that order. So that takes care of special session.
Yeah, and so that was almost $1 million. And
that's
just on per diem.
This year. Last year was about the same amount too.
Just
per diem.
$1 million just for the House of Representatives.
Just give them a check.
Doesn't include Governor Pawlenty or any of the rest of those guys. Doesn't include any of the commissions, the task forces, the working groups. Most of them get per diem too.
Correct.
So just the House of Representatives, $1 million.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Wonder why we're broke.
Yeah. All in attitude. It's all in attitude.
Yes, it is all in the attitude. And Tim Utes, once we get you elected, you're going to show up January 4th, get sworn in, and you're going to help stop some of this stuff.
Yes, stop it all, yes.
Yes,
sure.
Yes. Okay, let's go on and talk about, you've been out on the trail, you've been everywhere, everywhere, all over. I see your bus everywhere. I saw your bus at the Fridley 49er Day Parade. What a great parade, huh?
Yep, and we added a little bit of, I didn't bring a thing to bring. We'll go on our website. We added a platform in the back of the bus for people to stand away. TimUtesForHouse.com.
TimUtesForHouse.com.
Yep.
Loved the platform where people could stand back there and wave.
Now, I'm going to be using that during the last couple months as I stand along the freeway and main arteries coming into our district, and I'll be standing out there in the back waving during rush hour. That's the purpose of it. But we used it for the parade, so it was kind of fun.
And your green shirts, they're so easy to see everywhere.
My wife likes this one better than my white one, so we got to get a few more green. This is really our favorite. Oh yeah, we do have T-shirts that we're selling for $20. If anybody wants to buy a nice T-shirt, it's got our emblem on the front, and the Constitution's not a suggestion on the back.
I love that. Absolutely love that. Do you have some events coming up that people could get involved in?
We're doing, what are we doing? Boy, you got me. That was good. We're campaigning. We're doing each precinct once a week.
Oh, so wonderful.
We're focusing, instead of the whole district, we're staying in one precinct for a week, running around, meeting people. And yesterday we were out for 4 hours. We were driving by this place. There was about 6 to 8 African Americans, they're in their 20s, and they're sitting out there chatting, and I was just going to, I'm a Republican, and they've tend to vote Democrat, but they waved, so I stopped. I got out and talked to them in 5-10 minutes, and I had 8 more votes for me. They said, we love the message. Now, they were a little skeptical at first, but we had a frank, honest conversation about race and whatever else, and I didn't promise them anything. That was the funnest part. I didn't give them promise them anything. But they understood that we're going off this economic cliff, and we're all, no matter what color you are, we're going off this cliff together, and we got to stop this train, the government out of control. And they understood that.